All right, starting with the breaking news. You know, it always seemed pretty inevitable. It's actually surprising in a way that this day did not come sooner, but it is finally time to say, if you're getting ready for work right now, you're probably not Sean McDermott.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not Doug
Sean
Collins.
McDermott.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably
Sean
not
McDermott.
Doug Collins. If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're
Sean
probably
McDermott.
not ready for work right now.
So all
then
these
you're getting ready
reports
for work right
this
now,
morning
then you're probably
were
not.
like, the Bills shockingly and stunningly fired Sean McDermott. But is it really that shocking? Is it really that stunning? Is it really that surprising? At least not to anybody not named Sean McDermott. In fact, I'm sure even Sean is not shocked right now because even Sean had to know he was not going to survive a loss on divisional weekend, especially not after wasting such a clear path to the Super Bowl. This may not have been his best team, but it may have been his best shot ever. And he blew it yet again. Maybe not alone, but it's on him. He's got to wear that. And why do I say that? No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow, and still he went out in the divisional round. And that's why he's gone, and that's why it's not shocking, nor is it stunning. Now, that said, he didn't do a bad job this year. In fact, I could argue he did one of his better jobs this year because, again, that definitely was not the best Bills roster that he coached. And yes, he does deserve credit for the big picture of what he was able to accomplish in Buffalo. He took a team that had not been to the playoffs in 16 years. He turned them into an annual AFC contender, and he does deserve credit for that, which is why you'd like to see a better send-off from the Bills than a statement with a typo 5 words in. Here's how Buffalo's statement this morning started, and I quote, "Sean has done an admirable job of leading our football team for the past 9 seasons," end of quote, said owner Terry Pagula. You'd think you'd proofread the statement about the firing of the second winningest coach in franchise history. Maybe Sean did an admirable job. You know who else did an admirable job? John Harbaugh did an admirable job. Sean couldn't get it done with Josh Allen, just as Harbaugh couldn't get it done with Lamar. But let's not get it twisted. Although they both got kicked to the curb, they both did an admirable job. There is no disputing that. They did a David Robinson job. Full-on admiral job. Look, again, McDermott won a ton of games. He completely flipped the culture. He helped change the status of the organization. He did an admirable job. But he could not get them over the hump. A year ago, we were having the same discussion, were we not? And the year before that, we were having a very similar discussion, were we not? And if nothing changes, nothing changes. Yet we're supposed to believe that this firing was so shocking and so stunning. You know what would have been shocking? Shocking would have been to run it back yet again and expect something to change. Now that would have been shocking and ignorant. Look, I'm not here to celebrate this guy's demise or dance on his grave, nor do I fully trust an organization that can't even spell. But in this case, moving on from McDermott was absolutely the right call. Now, that said, Josh Allen is going to have to wear some of this too. Josh Allen definitely deserves some of the heat as well. A lot of the heat in this case. He had chances to win that game, and he missed them all. He did not take care of the football. He gifted the Broncos 3 points right before halftime, only to wind up losing by 3 points. In this case, as great as he is, Josh did not rise to the moment. Not in this game, which is probably why he was crying his eyes out at the podium after the game. I mean, seriously, I'm not even sure. I don't even think that Tom Cruise was this upset after Goose died.
How hard is it to just get here again and have this happen?
It's extremely difficult. feel like I let my teammates down tonight.
Your emotions normally aren't this emotional for us. Is what has brought this on? It's
just missed opportunities throughout the game. It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and it's going to stick with me for a long time.
I mean, my man probably even knew that he'd just run his coach into the wood chipper too. All right, Albie. But at least Josh was not doing what so many Buffalo fans are doing right now. At least Josh was not crying over the ref show. At least Josh was not pointing the finger. Josh owned it all. He wore it all. Which brings us to the return of everybody's favorite football question. What the hell is a catch? What is a catch? Buffalo, I know you're upset. And you know I love you. And I absolutely hate that game turned on that play because it is incredibly close. But by the letter of the law, that's not a catch. Brandon Cooks did not maintain possession throughout the catch. It was just barely already coming out when he hit the ground. So that means he was not down by contact. He did not maintain possession throughout the entire catch, not when the ball is coming out. And then the ball never actually did touch the ground, therefore it's not an incompletion. Jaquan McMillan came away with it because the ball didn't hit the ground, so therefore it's an INT. I would argue that the ref show actually got this one right for once. And then even if they didn't, you can't blame the refs for the loss. You can't act like the Bills didn't have several other chances to win that game. You can't act like this wasn't a gigantic missed opportunity for Buffalo or that this is on anybody but Buffalo. Although Denver did have something to do with it. Sorry, Bronco fan. I know I've barely mentioned your Broncos yet. Even though you played another tough, gritty game and successfully knocked Josh Allen out of the playoffs. It's just the biggest wet blanket ever that somehow Bo Nix also got knocked out of the playoffs in that game because somehow that dude came away from that game with a fractured bone in his ankle, and it happened late. I mean, what an enormous kick in the stick that is. Should be one of the most exciting Mondays in recent memory in Denver. And instead, Bronco fan is spending it trying to talk themselves into thinking everything's going to be just fine with Jared Stidham starting in the AFC Championship game when, frankly, everything is just jacked up about Stiddy getting that start. I mean, I got a couple of buddies that I respect that are saying, hey, man, you know what, by the way, it's not that big of a drop-off. By the way, it might actually be a better thing. I know people I respect that are trying to argue that it might actually be better to have Stiddy than Bo. For real. All right. Now, just know the odds makers don't see it that way. That's why the number one seed, who's at home, is a home dog in the AFC title game. A 5-point dog. And why is that? Stiddy. Because Jared Stidham is starting. So everything obviously is not just fine.
That's fine.
Or better. And right when the Believers thought their guy was about to lead them to the promised land, it's like the Believers finally had all of their belief fully confirmed, only to wind up losing this dude for the rest of the playoffs. I mean, excruciating news. Well, not for my half fam in New England. The Patriots continue to have their path paved in gold this season. Not saying that they haven't earned it, but I am saying everything is coming up Patriots right now. Everything is breaking perfectly for them right now. If there is a team of destiny, especially with Chicago gone, it's got to be the Patriots, right?